Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF44 coming at you with another video. All right, shout out to Jay Williams, man. Jay Williams, great NBA point guard from the Duke Blue Devils, man, legend. Um, spoke out. He spoke out today in support of what's right, which happened to be Kyrie Irving, against the practice of buck breaking and making people further apologize after clearly stating that their intention was not to offend. These are the type of things that have been used for many years to help mold what the image of certain people are actually about from a cultural standpoint, from a broadening standpoint. And it's just something that we need to identify and deter the practices of that and start to weed out the people who practice that stuff and what it is that they believe in, and start to really look at them as the cancelable people, not the people they otherwise want to cancel from behind the curtain. They're the ones that indeed should be facing the canceling. So it is what it is. It's about time we face these various hypocrisies, and I'm glad someone who stands to lose a lot for doing this took forth the opportunity to speak out against what is wrong. And just that's all I want to see is consistency in regards to that. So yeah, big up to Jay Williams, and we appreciate that. I appreciate that, and I think at the end of the day, it's very important that we take a look at what happens next with Jay Williams. Are they going to try to retaliate against this man? Is he going to lose his job? Or is there going to be some scandal that pops up that smears his name? We're looking for that now, because we know that is something that they're likely to try in reaction to this. It's 5 months from now. It probably won't be right away. Maybe a couple weeks from now. Who knows? But if for some reason he comes up and has some out of character behavior, and all of a sudden all the major platforms are telling us how bad Jay Williams cheated on his wife or whatever the hell it's going to be, we are looking for that. Just so you know, for those of you who are trying to plot against the man for speaking out, we're waiting for you to do it. We're waiting. Put it like that, and we will be out there ready to support him with this in mind. Because I already know. We know how you are. We see how you're operating, and we know you're not going to stop just because you're being held accountable. So, yeah. Protect Jay Will. Make sure that we protect Kanye, protect Kyrie, protect anybody that speaks for the truth, regardless of what it is they are saying. If it's the truth, then let it be heard. It's enough suppressing the truth. That doesn't make me feel better suppressing the truth. I want to deal with my problems, whatever they may be. You understand what I'm saying? And I don't want people above me telling me that I'm not balanced enough of a person to accept my own truth, when I know it's only to their benefit that I don't know it. And with that being said, we need more Jay Wills. Who else is going to speak out? Who's next? I hear Shannon moonwalking. Appreciate it. Like I said, Stephen A. Smith got on the train early. I think he got a hold of some information early that helped him understand where this was headed before most of these pundits, because he stopped hating on Kyrie Irving before everybody else stopped hating on Kyrie Irving. He's the number one hater of Kyrie Irving. I wonder how many of these people actually listen to me. But anyway, nevertheless, I want, as a consumer, as a talking head who doesn't get paid, to just see the people from behind the curtain be able to speak on what is right. Whoever's getting behind the paywall, I want Shaq to be able to say what is on his mind, not what upholds what is proper so that his contract can stay intact. That's bullcrap. If we're in the age of reality TV, and we're in the age of authenticity and identity and all of that, then I do not want corporate muzzling the talent, especially when the talent hasn't proven themselves to be radical in nature. You know what I mean? It's not like we're talking about taking the muzzle off of some really, really bad mouths. No, we're talking about taking the muzzle off of people that you've been thrown in our face as superheroes for years. And now you want us to believe that they're against us and whatever our topics are based on how you're aligned with those topics. And we know what the interests are of you, and we know where they came from, even if they've forgotten. So stop the nonsense. Stop making our black talent look bad by putting them in positions to say things that are not their own, that take positions that benefit you for whatever it is you're trying to mold them to look like. That's a big thing that they're doing right now, and I don't think we're all awake to that one yet. We're not quite awake to that yet, but we're getting there. They be putting people in your face, telling them to say things that they know are going to make you hate them. And then what do? We go back and hate them. You got to be careful. Very careful. I don't know who. I got my theories on who they're doing that to right now. Setting old young girl up to fail. She hates black men. Does she? Or is she being told to say certain things and uphold certain biases that ultimately just happen to make her look like a mad woman? Mad black woman. So I say, guard your thoughts. Guard who you are. Guard your interests. These people will do a lot of things. They got a plan for your success and your failure. They benefit from both. That's why I'm like, I'm not on the train of bashing that young lady. I'm not on that. Because I already know she got bosses and they are telling her what she can and cannot say. And she's young. So chances are she's listening to these people. She believes them and she believes the world to be whatever it is they tell her it is. Until she wakes up, just like all the rest of us, when we get to a certain point in our lives and we realize these agreements ain't nothing. A lot of this stuff is bias, is put in place that is just perverted in nature based on people trying to get money aligned in their pockets. A lot of these ideals, people came up with these ideals, they weren't even real people themselves. You know what I mean? Think you're going to bat for what's right. You're not. Those things are in place to protect people who were guilty a lot of times. Don't let them see who that is. No. None of these things are copy and paste. It's gray area in a lot of stuff. And I think young people don't often know that. And the people who are advising them do. And they lead them in directions of black and white. And it's wrong. So that's just what I think of that. I think that this is yet one of those situations where they've backed someone into looking bad. You look terrible. But not in a way that they're doing to Kyrie, but in a way that has them saying things that make you think within your community they don't mess with you. You know what I'm saying? It's sad, man. When all they really need is a few conversations with people as to which they would see the reasoning behind all the stuff that we're on. And that's the point. A lot of times when you're on the opposite side of stuff, you can't see logic that the other side is engaging in. But if you happen to sit down with a conversation and see what's going on this side of the room, then you understand why this angle makes sense over here. It makes sense over here. It may not make sense from where you're at, but if you come sit over here, you'll see what's coming at us, and you realize, yo, that's why they think this way. That's why it's important, this, that, the third, and so on and so forth. I think people don't look to seek context. They just look to defend what it is they believe in. The world is not an evil place looking to attack you and your group. It's really not. Everybody has their own interests, and people need to be convinced to change their minds. And so once we start to understand that, get a little more in that gray area, then we can stop allowing people to manipulate us into looking terrible by influencing us with their ideals that even they don't understand why is in place a lot of the time. So that's what it's about, man. We think free and we learn. New information gives us new opinions and we keep them updated. We're not married to nothing that ain't right. And we're certainly looking for misdirection at all times. So yes, that's what we talk about on this channel, and that's why we appreciate Jay Williams, because he's from behind the curtain, risking everything, afraid of losing it, but he's going to speak out because he knows right is right and wrong is wrong. And that faith will be met with loyalty. That faith will be met with support. That courage will be met with an army that has his back. Just like Kanye, just like Kyrie. And the enemy needs to understand that. These people that y'all trying to flog and buck break and make look crazy and smear and tie their hands behind their back based on guilt from back in the 80s or something like that, believe you me, it's all going to be revealed. We're aware that you're doing that to some of these people. We know. We're speaking on it. Some of these dudes that look like coons is really just guilty individuals who, if they come out and say the truth, are going to jail for a long time and their legacy is going to be shot to hell, and that can't happen. Because we look at them as great celebrities. In fact of the matter is, they did some bad stuff a long time ago, and we're never going to find out about it, and this is why. Because they're going to keep on cooning, so to speak. Tell the truth. They know I know. I don't need to know. I just know how they operate, and I know what they're going to use. I would use it if I were them, so I know what they're going to use. It's evil, man. When your sins can always be used against you. Your negative energy can always be pushed back at you. Your inertia, it can be used against you. And look, you got to look at it like this. They've been grooming these guys. See, I'm old enough to remember the video game NBA Ballers. The video game NBA Ballers help us understand the lifestyle that they were copying and pasting for these guys. You got the mansion. can't afford to keep them matching past the time they're in the NBA unless they invest a certain way that they're not encouraged to invest at those times. They weren't encouraged to invest in those times. They were giving these guys $100 million, and then they were leading them toward buying homes that they couldn't upkeep over the long term, buying cars that ultimately were losing value, buying jewelry that they knew was fake. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of times they knew this jewelry was fake. Of course they were going to be in debt. That was not meant to last. But the people who were putting them in those positions knew that. They knew that. They were keeping certain information from them, letting them go through school. You ain't got to go to class. What you going to class for? You're a basketball player. We're just going to say you passed the test and just go your first year of college. We'll continue to fake your test and just go into the NBA. And what do? What are they doing to get in the NBA? Siphon everything from them because they're ignorant. Why are they ignorant? Because they didn't go to class. Why didn't they go to class? Because they were told they didn't have to. It's just the type of stuff that ends up happening. So they get backed into being what? Spoiled athletes that are ignorant, don't know no better, and guess what? Susceptible to doing what? Wrong. What happens? They get in trouble, and then what? Who's there to save them? The guys behind the curtain. The guys behind the curtain. You did all that dumb stuff that I created for you to do, that I put you in a position to do, that I coerced you into wanting for yourself instead of showing you the right way, that I would never, ever let my daughter go down this path that you're going down. But I'm surely going to send you down that path. And when you go down that path, I'm going to be right there giving you what you need and helping you get out of the trouble I put you in. That is how it's worked for so long. We're not supposed to know that, though. That's the problem. This is all our fault. We're all insubordinate. We're ignorant to our own fault, and we just should have worked harder. Maybe we should just stick together. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no. Something came first. Something always comes first. We just aren't supposed to know that. We're not supposed to see the fullness of something coming first. There's always someone there to help you. And that's the point. And so as we understand this, we come to understand this, we start wondering this, that, and the third. We start looking at how it all shapes up. We start to see how it all plays out. And then it comes down to a conversation such as this. All of it boils down to this very here moment with Kyrie Irving and this very here conversation, because it has the answers to all of that in it. The answers. But why all that was like that is in this conversation. Talking about world changing stuff we're talking about. So you wonder why I'm appreciating Jay Williams speaking up for Kyrie Irving? Because I know as he continues to use his voice, more people are going to actually get curious about what it is that Kyrie Irving posted and then actually look at it. They're going to lay eyes on this movie finally. They're going to bleed through the suggested conscience that tells you you're a bad person for seeing it. They're going to override that programming. They're going to become curious. They're going to see it. And they're going to know what I know. They're going to know what I know. And I think that's where everybody should be at right now. Y'all should all be checking out that movie. Take your little $11 and rent it. You know what I'm saying? Say your prayers before doing so, like I did. You know what I mean? Guard your spiritual energy and go in. Go in with the intent of gaining information that'll help you understand some things that maybe you weren't taught in school, that'll help make some sense of things that have long never made any sense at all. That's what that movie did for me. So, as far as I'm concerned, now it's just about corporate catching up to that. Everybody behind the scenes who's muzzling our talent and keeping them, with their hands behind their back, as I told them guys 2 weeks ago if they were watching me, that the conversation was going to shift. That they were going to have to backpedal on this, that this wasn't going to go the way they thought it was going to go, that Kyrie Irving was going to get support from the black community that they didn't think, and some of the players are going to support him too, and this is going to turn into a thing. I told them this was going to happen. If you go back and watch my old videos from 3 weeks ago, all of this, I told y'all this was going to happen. This is a spiritual conversation. This is not a conversation that corporate has anything to do with. They are spiritually bankrupt. Corporate is spiritually bankrupt, and this is a spiritual conversation. They're out of their wheelhouse. They don't know what they're dealing with. I'm just being completely honest with you. They don't know what they're dealing with. They're going to find out, though. They're finding out now. So now you're seeing them take some of their most important critical voices on Kyrie, and now they're backpedaling all at once. Just like they use all of their stuff at once to smear Kanye West. They always do everything at once. It's like, okay, we got Shannon, we got Jay, we got Stephen A. They're all going to retract off Kyrie at once, and now the obvious is clear to us that wasn't clear to us 3 weeks ago when it was clear to BDF, but now it's clear to us that this is a wrongdoing. And I'm like, did all these people collectively just realize that it's time to speak up, or did the guys behind the curtain say, yeah, we need to pull back? I'm gonna go with column B. I'm gonna go there. It's more of the same. They're not speaking any freer than they ever did. This is the same thing. I don't know if Jay's in that. I'd probably take Jay out of that because he uses his own platform. But as far as those guys that are still speaking from in the studio, they're still speaking in the studio. So whatever is being said in the studio is controlled. Because if they get off base, believe me, you're going to hear about that. They're going to reprimand them. They're going to hit them with the 6 laws of whatever it takes or whatever. You know, they're going to do this. They're going to do this. You know how they do. We seen them do it to Stephen A. Pull him off. You got to apologize. For what? I told something I believe in. No, you said it about somebody you shouldn't have. Okay, you didn't see them for 2 weeks. That's when you know they crossed the line. You stop seeing them. As long as you're seeing them, they're still in good graces. Which means they're still behind the paywall, which means they're still upholding whatever it is they're told to uphold. One way or another. So I'm not, like I said, I'm not one to trust. I would tell Kyrie, just like I tell anybody else, stay prayed up, don't trust much. Trust God. Trust God. That's what I tell them. A lot of these people act like they're your friend. They're still trying to lead you down the same path they were trying to lead you last year. I know it. I know it. I don't care what's coming out of their mouths. They showed us who they were. Believe them. So, that's what I got to say. My name is BDF44. I thank y'all for watching.